जी भरकर फिर खेलें, खूब हल्ला गुल्ला मचाएं और दोस्तों को भी बतलाएं। चलो चलकर हैप्पी मील खाएं। चलो चले मैकडॉनल्ड्स से Sega games लाएं।
Alright, so the Sonic the Hedgehog the movie 2 is coming around the corner, and as a gamester boomer, it is looking pretty neat. I mean, look, Knuckles is in the movie. It's obviously going to be great. The only thing I'm not really into is how much they're going to make a Sonic movie universe with a third movie on the line, and Knuckles getting his own spin-off show. I mean, hey, I hope it all pulls through, but I'll be only sitting down for the Big the Cat origin story with John St. John voicing Big the Cat. Gotta put things into perspective though, like seriously, imagine the surprise that this movie started out looking like this, where Paramount execs were convinced this was Spinal. And now we're getting more, all because Sonic doesn't look like a wet-painted rat. And you know, it's kinda neat. We're living in this weird era of video game movies coming to terms of kind of respecting its fan base, while still pertaining to a general audience. Like, on one hand, the Sonic movie is all good, but then we'll get something like the Resident Evil movies as of late, Uncharted starring Tom Holland, and the Mario movie is supposed to come out this holiday, and we haven't heard a single damn thing about it ever since the... But, ever since the Sonic movie happened, everything seems to be going just fine. In fact, I guess this is a good time than ever to go back watching the first Sonic movie. I barely remember anything from it anyhow, but that's just because my brain is getting deteriorated over time. Here, I even ordered a physical copy so I can pop this in my PlayStation 2, the last bastion to play DVDs on such short notice. Let's go ahead and pop this thing in and see what it's all... Well, wait a minute. This is VHS! Okay, so the Hedgehog's out of the bag. This isn't the Sonic movie, but it does say Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. It might be a bit confusing, but this is what I put together on such short notice. Originally, this is just 2 episodes of an anime OVA based around Sonic the Hedgehog, and this OVA was hanging around in 1996. That was until ADV Films decided to slap the 2 episodes together as one thing, dubbed it, and shipped it to the States to call it Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. And I may not know a whole lot about anime, but I do know that OVAs are kind of slated to be big budget TV episodes that would later be a part of its own thing for a direct-to-video release. So they really weren't movies at all. If anything, it's just a bunch of episodes with a heavy story arc that gets concluded in these episodes. We kind of do that too in the States anyhow. Fooly cooly, no thanks. I only watch the real stuff like Bender's Big Score or Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. The real anime OVAs. I mean, hey, we are gonna talk about the first Sonic movie, and I guess technically this is the first Sonic movie. So, I mean, why not? It might be a fun little interesting little bit of Sonic media. Before starting this off, I'm quite interested about how this was conceived and who even made it. Okay, I know we were going to talk about this movie, but I'd rather not do the whole Doug Walker approach of taking a piece of media, tell you an abridged version of the movie, add some jokes, and underpay some actors for a few skits that go on for too long. I would rather want to learn about the process of what made this happen, because once I gathered a few bits, it really started to become interesting. This being produced under Sega is a no-brainer since they do own the Sonic IP, but they didn't make it by any means. That would go to Period Company, who were the ones that pulled all the gears into the animation machine. I'm sure it's more than just an animation studio doing all the bits, yet it is something to note that they're pretty well known for many other works. Beforehand, one notable piece that they did was the anime adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho. Man, I gotta get around to watching that sometime. One of the first animes on Adult Swim I was kinda hooked onto. However, I was a bit more surprised to find out that they would later work on something else that would be blown out of the water. Naruto. Now, I'm not saying that the Sonic OVA would be something grand or anything, but I don't know, I find it interesting that the animation studio that worked on one of the biggest video game franchises of all time ended up animating one of the biggest anime franchises of all time. I mean, what else did these guys do? Tokyo Mew Mew? Midori Days? Oh wait, they also did do Bleach. Yeah, that's also a big thing. Milk-chan! You dumbass! Anyways, I looked up Sonic Naruto on Google, and I'm gonna consider this canon. It's a lot to unpack from a big anime studio, and the only other time I recall the studio ever pairing up with another video game company is with Capcom to make a short anime based on Power Stone, an arena fighting game from the arcades where its home console would release exclusively on the Sega Dreamcast. Hey, you know something? This all kind of turns around to the topic on kind of why Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, was made. Now, originally the OVA was its standalone thing, released in Japan on January 1996 and March 1996, for episodes 1 and 2 respectively. By this time, Sonic's run on the Genesis would run dry. The quadrilogy has been out for a bit, a Pinball and a Puyo Puyo reskin would serve as spin-offs, and the final Sonic game on the Genesis would be Sonic 3D Blast, which is just a port of the Sega Saturn game, and even that was released way later in 1996. Now you might realize that I failed to mention the other Sonic game released on the Genesis, through its add-on. Knuckles Chaotix! Hey, yeah, and there's Sonic CD too, I guess. Now, I didn't mention Sonic CD, not because it's one of the most decisive games out of the Sonic franchise. More so, the OVA seems to take a lot of inspiration from its game, and I feel like that's a lot more to talk about later on. Now, back at the topic at hand, ADV Films licensed to release this in the States. Direct to video by slapping 2 episodes as a movie, like I said, Stewie's Big Score or whatever. Now, the date of release is the main takeaway from all of this. The release of the Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, was released on September 7th, 1999. Do I even have to say what came out 2 days later? Because, there it is. That's right, little Timmy. They were playing the algorithm game better than I am to release something that is called Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, right around the release of the next big Sonic game on the next big Sega console. Well, emphasis on that, but that's really something to take away from. Like, Sonic Adventure was a huge game for the series to finally spin dash into the 3D realm in a new way. Fans would be pretty much dubbed this the modern Sonic era, but now it's been 20 years, and I guess it's not so modern anymore. The Sonic OVA pretty much took a lot from the Genesis titles too, and its American release to coincide with Sonic Adventure creates this massive disconnect. So Sonic Adventure did have elements from the Genesis games into its world of 3D platforming. On the other hand, the series would take a huge turn afterwards, with all these new characters, high world-ending stakes, and of course the real hardline that separates it all, the Chow Garden. Look at these boys. I miss them. I hope they're in Sonic Frontiers. Okay, enough about all that expose. Let's go ahead and talk about the VHS tape. No, really. There's some shit to talk about this VHS tape itself. Can we talk about this, though? The movie? Like, you put this guy on the side and it just says Sonic the Hedgehog. The front, though, it has the movie around the corner. Like, I guess it's really noting that this is just called Sonic the Hedgehog, but the licensing company wanted to sell this like it's a movie. So they just put the movie just somewhere on the cover to fool us into thinking that this is the Sonic movie when it really isn't. Also, the cover, the cover is really nice, but Knuckles, he's a bit cut off. Like, you barely notice it at first, but that's probably because Sonic's weird yellow glow around him is kind of camouflaging that mistake. Like, I guess they knew that they made a mistake over there. But boy, I hope someone was fired for that blunder. Here's a side thing. I got this guy on eBay, so it took a bit to come over. And when I got this movie, I also received Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Now, these two movies don't have anything in common, but this one thing. So yeah, it turns out the Sonic OVA's tape is this nice shade of white. I don't know why it's white, could have made a lot more sense of it being blue, but why is Kung Pao Enter the Fist white? No, really, these two guys came in the same day, and I was surprised to see that these tapes were white. Like, it blew my mind. Like, tangent time! When I was really sick earlier this year, to cope my sickness, I have been watching a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and it always irked me every single time when TV's Frank pulls those two VHS tapes that are white, and I'm like, Those don't exist. No, there's no such thing as a white VHS tape, and now I have them. Oh yeah, just in case you didn't know what a regular VHS tape looks like. It's black. And yeah, I guess I've been doing a little bit of a side gig of collecting VHS tapes or whatever. I don't know, I just think they're neat, and they're pretty cheap compared to the video games that I really want to get. Alright, is there any more tangents? What the heck is Nadia, guys? Okay, let's just talk about the Sonic OVA already.
Hey, want to listen to some tunes?
God, so like already, I love the vibe that this OVA brings. Like, I know Sonic is usually known to be the rad, cool kid that is hyped up on 60 Red Bulls, but I don't know, just something about Sonic just fucking relaxing at a beach. It's so nice. The visuals are just a grand first impression too. Like these establishing shots of the floating island and the island that Sonic is chilling out in, with all those like wrecked, ruined parts of like trains and shit. God, it's such a vibe. And plus, like, Sonic and Tails just look so good. I can't get over it. Like, they're just on point, the character designs that they had at that time. Plus, they're friend-shaped. I think one huge thing to note is that they are very expressive too. Like, even Robotnik gets some good expressions. Like, god damn, that's so good.
From this planet out of existence!
Now, I'm not really here to be like one of those, oh yeah, anime back then was so much better than what we got today. But sitting down to watch this thing has really yearned me to find more of this stuff. Not even from the animation company itself, just more of this old vintage anime stuff, and having to learn a lot of that is like ultra violence and gratuitous rape stuff is like, I think I'll stick with Sonic. But even on top of that, the action scenes of Sonic going really fast, destroying robots and stuff, god, that is so good to watch, really. More so especially when you have to consider all the old Sonic cartoons are kind of like not on point. Like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is just Ren and Stimpy with Sonic characters. Saturday Morning Sonic kind of respects Sonic into some sort of degree, and they made a vow their mother will be found, Sonic Underground. And none of these are really bad by any means, they're just kind of like cartoons. Meanwhile, the Sonic OVA, the Chad, is all about bringing a very nice story with some action and great animated scenes. And I especially love the dark tones in this OVA too. It's really nothing like super serious or anything, but it's all just downright great to watch something that really does both sides of it being extremely good positive vibe chills to... Okay, we should talk about this. A side note, I just ate some chicken with some mango habanero sauce, and my tongue's on fire. So this OVA is pretty great for a hardcore Sonic fan. It's got none of the nonsense that all the other cartoons have, right? Wrong! Sure, you've got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Dr. Robotnik, and even Metal Sonic all going on this great animated adventure. That's fine. But then you got the old owl, you've got the president of the Land of the Sky, you got Sarah in the mix. It's like at this point, entirely new characters, and Sonic is like, you know, fine, because now it's kind of like Sonic's shtick nowadays. And this was all pre-Sonic Adventure, so humans and Sonic characters didn't coexist until a few years later, or 2 days later in the US's case. But then it just like pops these characters out of nowhere, like we're supposed to know who these people are, when we really don't.
Hi, Sonic! I have some news for you!
Oh, not that old man again.
Sonic, we don't know who this guy is. Please, elaborate. Who is the old man? I totally get it from their perspective. There's only like a few games that they have to go off of, and there's not really any prominent characters in those games. Unless they want to account for the Archie Sonic comics, but those things are its own thing, and it's a whole nother can of worms. I mean, it is no big deal or anything. You can pretty much pick up that this is the president, this is the president's daughter, this is a guy. Like, it's fine, they want to take those sort of liberties to fill characters in these sort of roles for characters that don't exist in Sonic. Yet. Now, Sarah is the very odd one of the whole bunch. President is fine for a world leader type of deal. Old man is fine for old man type of guy. You got this gal, though. She's supposed to be like a damsel in distress type of gal who is into Sonic. And I can't pinpoint my finger on what character is very close to that in the Sonic games. Alright, now it rolls back around to it. Let's talk about the Sonic CD inspirations for this guy. And oh boy, there's a lot. Like, it's one thing to watch this OVA and be like, yeah, oh look, the spring traps from Sonic 1, the Buzz Bombers, they even got the wall snails from Launch Base Zone! You know, Leonardo DiCaprio demon pointing at the TV.mp4. And I kinda also know the story behind Sonic CD, like the Genesis games were made in a US department under Sega. Meanwhile, Sonic CD was developed in a Japanese Sega development team. So I have to imagine a lot of the anime studio had a lot of close ties with the Sonic CD development team, considering, you know, it's in the same country and all that. Now, I mean, somebody could be like, oh yeah, there's Metal Sonic in the OVA, but there's also Metal Sonic in Sonic 2. Yeah, this guy is kind of a popular little type of guy, don't you think? Guess it also goes without saying that the grand comparison of it all is a Sonic CD intro animation. I mean, you pair these two guys together and they go one and the same in very good ways. It's interesting to note that the Period Studio did do the OVA. Meanwhile, another anime juggernaut also did the Sonic CD intro, being Toei. You know, the Dragon Ball guys. Now, Metal Sonic being a prominent character in the OVA is pretty well known, and he is also properly debuted in Sonic CD. I suppose the other thing that the Sonic OVA takes from the Sonic CD game is the bad future. So there's a little scene where Sonic and Tails go through these ancient ruins to find Eggman Land, and it's New York City. There's no way around this. Pre-9/11, this is desolated New York City. Now, this could just be a message from Sonic CD, where if you do bad things in the present, the future will be bad as well. But I guess also Sonic CD has this double planet sort of deal going on, and in the Sonic OVA, there is also like a two-world thing going on. The Land of the Sky being this overworld type of deal with all the Sonic characters living in, and the Land of the Dark, where Eggman lives, and it's pretty much post-apocalyptic Earth. Now, out of all the Sonic the Hedgehog world building that there is, this one I can definitely dig the most. It's the most interesting and weird out of all of them. Sure, I am completely okay with humans coexisting with Sonic and Earth or whatever, but I don't know, I just kind of like the whole idea of like all the Sonic characters living in the sky world, meanwhile Eggman is down there in the dumps. Shoutouts to ancient abandoned cities with massive overgrowth. It's gotta be one of my favorite of post-apocalyptic settings of all time. I think my favorite iteration from Sonic to this OVA, it's definitely Knuckles. Like, ever since Sonic and Knuckles, I've always thought that Knuckles was like literally the coolest character in Sonic from that point. And it's fun because they gave Knuckles a hat. I love this hat. I don't know why they gave him a cool hat, but he's just got a cool hat. I mean, apparently he's a treasure hunter in this OVA. So his type of fit is like an Indiana Jones type of deal. In fact, I think a lot of weird translation from Knuckles to the OVA was kind of like weird, I guess. Like, you know, he's an echidna, as all echidnas do look like that. But I guess the animators thought he was a mole for some reason. That's not from like pure speculation either. Sarah calls him straight up a mole. Jeez, the dub voices. I haven't even talked about the dub voices now, haven't I? Like, listen, I'm not here to sit down and say, you know, this is bad voice acting, you know, Titus.mp4. I mean, that's the sort of flair that you're gonna have to expect in a mid-90s anime dub. Like, it kinda like grew on me, but Sonic's voice really kinda sticks out in here. It's like he just came off from like watching a bunch of heroic 1950s serials or whatever. And I just especially love the legendary line at the end.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
And I think if anything else, Eggman's voice is also pretty okay too.
Oh no! How is it that you're still alive, Sonic? What? What's wrong with you?
Just absolutely full R nerd ass Robotnik. On the other side, Knuckles.
Thanks for saving us there, Knuckles.
Yeah, that's one more job I won't get paid for. But I've known you for a while, so I'll just put it on your tab, and you can pay me back later on.
But come on, man, you gotta phone it in. You're Knuckles. Like, his lines just sounds like he's reading off of a script. And then there's Tails. Like, were they sick when they dubbed this? Because they sound like they're, like, on a sick day.
Sonic! I finally finished it! See, isn't it great? It's a jet-propelled bodyboard.
Like, these voice actors are trying their best and everything, but, like, I'm not here to turn them down or anything, but it just is a little tad annoying. Now, Sarah... We gotta talk about Sarah, guys. Like, I'm not talking about the voice of Sarah. I mean, what is she supposed to be? Like, is she supposed to be like a cat girl? Like a monkey girl or whatever? Even then, like, why is she like this? She is like 90% human and 10% cat. And like, she's a huge flirt. Like, what's going on here? Like, even Metal Sonic is trying to get a sneak peek. Like, what? She's like also like all over the place character-wise. Like, she's completely okay with being kidnapped by Dr. Robotnik. Like, she's playing video games with the guy. Also just completely okay with riding in Dr. Robotnik's death machine or whatever. And she, like, totally accepts a gift from Dr. Robotnik after he kills Sonic the Hedgehog. Like... Hashtag relationship goals, I guess. I mean, still, Amy would be a perfect fit for this character, but they just made up just some... Wait, why is Eggman wearing a wedding suit?
You mean, once Metal has destroyed the land of the sky, we'll be the only ones left? Then we can get married and live out the rest of our happy lives together, Sarah. Rock-a-bye robot on the egg pop.
What? Alright, I guess Eggman's total end goal is to not take over the world, but he is just down really bad for breeding. Let's brainwash ourselves and talk about stuff that the Sonic franchise has taken from the OVA since then. First off, in one of the most infamous examples, in the Archie Sonic issue number 101, Sonic keeps getting transported to different Sonic universes through Robotropolis' force field. I don't know what's going on in this, but it's basically like the Spider-Verse but with Sonic. As in fact, the first universe that Sonic transports into is the Sonic OVA's universe, where Sonic and Tails runs into Metal Robotnik. And hey, it even features Dr. Robotnik mentioning the land of the sky and marrying Princess Sarah, who's in a capsule. I'm done with this. I'm not reading any more Sonic comics. Sonic and Tails scuffles with Metal Robotnik, and at the last moment where you might think that they may be gone for good, Knuckles comes in, and he's got the hat on. Hell yeah, it all comes together. But as the page turns, everything wipes away onto the other universe, never to be seen again. That's kind of fucked up. There's also Sonic Dash, the autorunner mobile app game. So there's nothing more to talk about, other than Knuckles is one of the unlockable characters in the game, but he also has an alternative character, Treasure Hunter Knuckles, and he's got the damn hat on. Now, I think if anything, the biggest takeaway Sega had from this OVA is definitely Metal Sonic. Like, yeah, the dude barely ever appears in a lot of Sonic games nowadays, but when he does, it always seems to stem from the Sonic OVA. Completely emotionless, but you can just tell there's a lot of malice behind this guy. Completely silent too, only through his body language can he really communicate. I think one of the grandest examples of this is from the Sonic Colors animated short, Rise of the Wisp, where it features Metal Sonic and he is just completely done with everything until he sees Sonic, which he will stop at nothing until everybody should have thought about what he is willing to do in order to get the job done. Although Metal Sonic in the OVA does have a giant change of heart, or I guess he unlocks Sonic's true self. Either way, he sacrifices himself at the end of the OVA, because there can only be one Sonic. A true sacrifice, but a bigger sacrifice is Knuckles' hat. R.I.P. buddy. So other than those few examples, there's really not so much that Sega took from the Sonic OVA into the Sonic franchise, which is completely fine in my book. Like, you compare this to nowadays where Sonic is getting a movie franchise and he's got like a lot of weird reboots like Sonic Boom and stuff. And that was years after Sonic was fully established to what he is today, compared to those days where he had only just a handful of major games. And like I said, all the other Sonic animated featurettes back in the day were not bad at all, but this is one where a lot of Sonic fans can go ahead and sit down and actually turn their brain on while watching. And I really just shouldn't tell you that this is a really good watch and it is highly recommended to see it. But even more so, once the Sonic movie franchise grows bigger, the Sonic the movie will grow smaller. But it's like, I don't know, the Sonic OVA is just one of the most interesting pieces of Sonic media. I mean, a Sonic anime would be good flair for the mid-2000s, but like, Sonic and Knuckles was like the last game when this thing was originally out in Japan. So really, this wasn't much more of a marketing ploy, probably just because they wanted to make a Sonic anime. And I guess to conclude everything, that's just what it really is. The Sonic OVA, or the Sonic the movie, it's just a fun anime OVA, and there's nothing much more to think about other than its interesting pieces of media. Besides, even if Sega doesn't want to take more things from it, it's okay, because different things do look alike.
The whole thing out for him. He told me he had this great idea for a new game called Sonic and Knuckles. It's Knuckles in his own game. Plus it has new technology. Lock on technology. So you can play Knuckles in Sonic 2 and 3. It's revolutionary. You just laughed at it. So we sold the whole thing to Sega? Who's laughing now?